Alright, so I've noticed a lot of people asking me about these two welders here recently, and my little trans pocket that I have. These are actually pretty decent welders, and I don't think I've shown off I don't think I've done too much stick welding with this one, at least on camera. I have done quite a bit of stick welding with it. So yeah, I have this skid loader quick attach thing that I'm building for myself. It's actually the perfect setup to stick weld with this thing. I'm going to be running some 7018 down here, like on all four of these things. Then I'm going to flip it over, probably run 6010 like this way on the square tube, and maybe try to, well, I won't gusset it because the actual, like the main supports, the rest of this is going to come up right on the edge of this. What this is a retrofit kit. It came with these two things, and then I bought this separately because I'm going to build a frame for this, and it's going to go on my 544 loader. It's like an old payloader. You might be thinking, why are you going to put a skid loader quick attach on a payloader? You're just going to tear it up. I mean, it's probably true, but I'm not pushing this machine to its limits. So, I'm going to build a quick attach thing. It's going to open up my, I'm going to be able to put any attachment I want on this tractor. It may not have the best hydraulic flow, so I'm not going to be able to run a forestry mulcher off this thing. But, I can buy pallet forks, buckets. I have a stump bucket out in the truck right now. I'm actually using for the spacing on this, and I'm going to hopefully be able to rip some stumps out of the ground with this loader. So that is besides the point. I'm getting into a rant here. So back to the Fronius, right? It's set up for MIG mode right now, and it's primarily what this thing is a MIG welder. I don't know if I would want to buy this particular welder just for stick welding. It's mainly a MIG welder, and then it can stick weld and it can TIG weld. So to set it up for stick welding, it's pretty simple. You turn it on in the back here. Turn it on, and you take your MIG, the wire that runs back into the machine, unplug that, wiggle it out, grab your stinger, plug it in, and twist it. Now you hit one button 2 times, set your amperage, and you're good to go. So now I'll get set up and weld with this thing. Alright, so I'm running the Papper system here today. It's going to get pretty smoky in here. And we're running 1/8" 7018s indoors, which is partly why I have the Papper. Alright, so now that I have the Papper on, I'm going to take the electrode, and we're going to get welding here. We run an electrode positive, 125 amps.
Notice how there's smoke all around me, but I don't smell it at all.
Alright, so those weren't the best arc shots. As you can tell, it's pretty smoky in here still. That's all the stuff you're getting in your lungs if you're not wearing a PAPR. And this is just been lingering here for a few minutes. So I'm actually still breathing whatever's in the air here. But it's way worse when you're in the process of welding. So get a papper or a respirator or a fume extractor or something. If you don't have the kind of money for a fume extractor, that papper, I mean, it works pretty good. But anyway, back to what the welder did. That's one of the welds that I just made just now. It's buttery smooth. I was trying to weld, take a little bit too much in one bite. So I don't know, I don't really want to call that undercut, but it kind of looks a little funky at the top there. So like a way to go about that is to just make a triple pass weld, which I may do. Anyway, yeah, or just hang out at the top there a little more, whatever floats your boat. Some of the other welds, it's not as funky like that. This is where the restart was. It's pretty smooth on the restart as well. You'd have to really know welding to know that that's a restart, especially in a different light. That's another weld. This is the last one here. So I mean, it's all buttery smooth. Running 125 amps. I don't even think I heard the fan kick on. If it did, it wasn't on very long. So, I don't know. A lot of people are always curious about the machines. So, that's what I was able to do with a MIG welder, pull out a big stick welder and weld her up. This will run 5/32 electrodes pretty easily as well. I'm running on 220 power right now. I don't think it goes quite this high up in amps when you're just plugged in a normal 20 amp 110 outlet. I think it cuts off at like 114, but you can still run an 1/8 inch electrode as long as your fuse box will handle it. Yeah. That's Fronius Transsteel 2200. Pretty decent machine. Like I said, I wouldn't buy this just for stick welding, but if you need a MIG welder that also stick welds and also TIG welds, pretty decent machine. Alright, and then to show you how easy it is to go back to MIG welding with this machine, all you do is pull this out, plug this one back in, hit your button, I'm going to go into manual mode, and then turn your gas on, purge your gas, and we're good. Pick up your torch, make sure your torch is set up correctly and cleaned out. And now we're good to MIG weld. Alright, so I just welded straight across that thing. These are the settings I'm using for that. I think sometimes it changes the volts a little bit, depending on your stick out or whatever is going on with it. It was 8 inches of weld. Did it like it was nothing, you know. Not a perfect weld. It's kind of hard welding the square tube. It's always got like that rounded gap. I ran it with MIG weld on the bottom. I'll do the same thing over here. Probably do run a MIG weld up top, and then yeah, maybe run over it with a stick welder. 2 or 3 passes. I don't know. But yeah, that's the Fronius Transsteel 2200. Alright, so I'm done welding this piece of it. It's probably been about 5 or 10 minutes since I had the welder running last. I mean, there's still smoke. It's like billowing up out of this thing. And you can see it in front of the light there. Up underneath this one here. But anyway, besides the point. It's all welded out. At least this part of it. I think I got some undercut on this. It's not too big a deal. I mean, that's less than a 1/32 inch undercut. It looks bigger with the shadows, but it ain't that big. I mean, these factory welds here, I mean, they have more undercut than I do, especially right here. So, you know, nobody's perfect, really. Yeah, it was a MIG root and then 2 7018 passes over top of it. I left room so I can still push out that pin if I need to. So yeah, I mean, that little welder can do a lot. I don't know, I like it a lot. So now that I got this welded up, I'm gonna figure out what else I need to build this thing. And yeah, I'm not gonna show that in this video. If you want to see this thing completed, you'll have to wait and check out my channel. The world does not know what it's in for now that I got a wheeled loader of my own. I've ran company loaders before, but this one's mine, and it's gonna be crazy.